Right. I thought I'd do a little video on something sort of AI related, and that's the fact that the Adobe AI has terms and conditions, and in amongst that, which can annoy portrait photographers, etc., is the whole fact that Adobe's terms and conditions don't like you to be editing effectively tits and ass, or in particular nipples and ass. And it has a bit of a problem at anything it picks up as nudity or anything like that. So below a certain level of clothing, which can even be something as fully covered but it's lingerie or something like that, it can sometimes have an issue. Sometimes the shape of the selection, it spits the dummy and does the whole orange box thing and changes the selection shape just a fraction and it accepts it. So I thought I'd demonstrate this using the AI expand function in Photoshop, just as an example, and let's hope that this picture is going to do what I think it's going to do. And effectively what you might do is you might decide, I want a little bit more space up here and I'm okay with a bit more space out here and a bit more out here, so I want to go relative to the ratio of this image. So you might just go draggy. Right, there we go. Now it's white, it's pretty simple, but the AI looks at the whole image, and if I go generative expand, click, there is a good chance it'll go through its process and I'll get an orange box. I can generally tell by the speed at which this, if this slows down about here, yep, it cut out and comes up with the orange box, which will go away in a minute. Now, there is a workaround for this that most of the time works. Other AI tools in here, like for instance, I don't know, selecting and changing the colour of the shoes, yeah, that can be a bit different. But for AI expand, there is a bit of a workaround that works most of the time, but you need an image with quite a bit of space around it that's predictable. In this case, I'm going to be expanding to the left, the right, and above. Now, first of all, we go Control J to duplicate it. Now, move our picture down a bit. Bring up our crop tool and do our cropping, but take it off generative. What's the name? Go to transparent, because that's not an AI tool. There, we've cropped. Now I want to expand all this. Right. In this case, it's a simple background, so it should work easily for this demonstration without giving me problems. The first thing we need to do is go to our select tool and select and drag, hold down shift, hold down the space bar to move our selection. Select just a little bit past here, right down at the bottom, but a little bit past here. I don't want to go too close to the top. But just enough that she's selected. Now, invert our selection, hit Control J again. Now we've got the white. Now, there are many ways you can expand this, but we're going to use effectively the generative remove thing. Now in this case my selection is nice and square, so I can go select that area there, go generative fill, and if all things are going well, it should pick up that we've got white and just do what I want it to. No, it's obviously there's still a hint of the hair, but I can work with that. Now before I do anything, I will go Control Shift Alt E to create a stamped layer. Use the select tool to grab these and use generative fill to get rid of those before I do anything else. Then I'll use the marquee tool to select another chunk. Go OK, generative fill. Oops, I completely forgot. It's going to have a problem with that. Do another stamped layer. Oh, deselect first. Another stamped layer. Right. Select my area. Generative fill. Doo-dee-doo. Obviously that worked fine. Now we do the same with this side. Because it's generative fill, I don't need to do a stamped layer. Just working on everything that's below that, which is my stamped layer and my last generative fill. Okay, it's recreated all that. Now in our layers panel, go right down. I always duplicate the background layer just in case. Turn that back on. Now we have got an expanded background. Now if I turn off, sorry, if I select these, go Control E, I can turn that on and off, and it's done a good job. I might want to tidy this little bit up here, which might work even now. It might work. The generative fill isn't too bad on little bits like that if they're far enough away from your subject. Are we going to get anywhere? Yep, it's slowed down, so I know it's going to work. Sweet. Yeah, and there's a couple of little bits here and here that need a bit of correction. So that's pretty much sorted that out. Now all I need to do is just go Control Shift E and everything's compressed back down to one layer. If you wanted to get rid of her bracelet, you're going to run into problems. This may not work, and the same as this bit of lace at the back here, it's not likely to work. But sometimes if you're really lucky, you might struck it lucky by doing this. Do my select tool, zoom in and select the bracelet and the arm up to about there. Oops, I've got a bit. Take away that. Now, this is where complete luck comes into it. Invert the selection. Actually, no, just copy it. Control J. Puts it on its own layer. Get rid of these. Oops, I missed a bit. Let's go back and do that again. Control J, get rid of that layer. Obviously I was being a bit slap happy with my... Now, there is a remote possibility, although I don't expect it to work, that if I select just the bracelet, it might work out what I'm doing. This is probably not a good example of this. See, already you can see it's not going to come up with an error. It's done an okay-ish job. Turn that layer off. Turn that back on. Oops. That's right, you can't. I keep forgetting the one thing. These generative layers are smart objects, so where are we? Rasterize the layer. Apply the mask, create a new mask, and yeah. Okay, if I shrink my brush a bit, I might be able to get an acceptable result. There, I have removed the offending bracelet. Now, if I do a stamped layer, because there's a bit of a line down here, there is a remote possibility, if I'm lucky, that the generative fill will fix that line without throwing a wobbly about the photo content. Oh, it's going to do something. Yep, there we go. Now, it's not what I'd call perfect, but oops. I've got rid of it, and it's not the worst thing in the world. If there was a tattoo on her backside here, it would probably work. You just isolate so that it cannot recognize it as a person's butt cheek, and it just sees it as a flat surface of skin color, and then you hide that layer that you don't want while you're doing the AI stuff. So yeah, so there's the sort of workaround. I'm not saying it's the best workaround in the world, but it does it. And Adobe needs to step up their game and take away that restriction, because effectively they're limiting the AI from being used by people who do portrait photography. It's not just people who might edit nude photographs. There's a lot of portrait stuff. If it's a stylish dress or a small top or a bikini or something like this, and you've got, I don't know, a bikini with a seagull in the background and you want to get rid of the seagull, there is a 50-50 chance the AI will throw a hissy fit because it can see too much skin, etc., in the model. So the only way to do that is to hide the model from the AI, get rid of your seagull, then bring the model back. It would be nice if the AI could not have that issue, because there are people out there who do portraits of nude or near nude models, or models in bikinis or lingerie or anything like that, who would want to use the AI to do their editing, but are effectively aren't able to. This is where knowing the old school methods are important, because you may have to go back to using those to fix the problem. It's just that, I don't know, removing a seagull from the background that goes part way through the landscape, etc., is just a tedious process. And the AI, in any other situation, if that was a fully closed person or a dog standing on the beach with a seagull in the background, the AI would do a really good job of removing the seagull and leaving you a nice, perfect, filled in space. So yeah, they need to step up the game and stop these restrictions that are generally affecting people who do portraits. It's not even portraits, sometimes even in landscapes or animal photography, or just about any form of photography. If the AI deems it has the appearance of a part of a human body that shouldn't be shown, it throws up an error, and you've got to use a workaround like this. It doesn't work every time, because you need a certain amount of space, etc., etc. Like if I wanted to put a funny hat on her, there is a very good chance that the AI would have a fit. Let's remove all these other layers. There's a very good chance that the AI would have a fit if I did this. Go back to showing it. Oops. If I did this, now this might work, because it's, for these things it's not too fussy, but it can work. Well, I don't know, let's try, what shall I put in here? Stylish hat. I don't know, just random text, see what we get. It might work and it might not. You never actually know. You sort of sometimes have to try. It looks like it's going to give it a go. Nope. Oh no, it did. It just didn't come up with anything useful there. Not the best, but I probably didn't do the ideal selection, so that's not too bad, I suppose. But if it did have a problem with this part of here, one thing all you'd have to do is just select here, give yourself heaps of room, make it look like it's a headshot, I suppose. Duplicate that selection, drop out the background, and now all it can see is this. But yeah, so that's the sort of a workaround that will work in most occasions. Happy photoshopping.